Hello everybody, it's Market Michael here, May 10th. Now, what we see is breaking previous highs along with higher lows, which indicates the bulls are gaining control. So, this this big crash that we had is being averted. Let's get into things here, guys. Okay. So we can see this is a daily chart. We've gotten higher highs. On the Dow Jones, which is the laggard, we're still not there yet. We're probably gonna get it though. And I mean, I don't really understand why there's so much optimism. It's just a game. It's euphoric nonsense. When we should have gone lower multiple times. That President Z thing, that totally changed momentum. A couple of instances where the momentum completely changed and had favor to the bull side. But regardless, let me give you guys my outlook moving forward, because I've been suggesting that we, you know, we're going to fail this pennant, right? We didn't. We had this little move up. I saw the CCI was high. We had a big day yesterday, and we're getting the same kind of action today. Completely not logical, not real. The markets are in the air. You know, that 10 years continually being suppressed. We had some buying, but mostly all it's Fed's just suppressing it through the back door. So let's see. Again, 7,500 is resistance for that comp. 2735 we got resistance for the S&P. Dow Jones 25,000 is resistance, as well as the previous high of 24,838. But we're at highs, guys. This can't continue. So at some point we're gonna have to reverse. Whether we hang here all day today and get a doji Friday, that's up to the markets. But I don't see this continuing, and we should theoretically get higher lows again, and we should be able to see a new trend forming. We are going to be able to put the one trend line point here, and we'll put it at the next. And then here we'll take this low, and we'll put it at this low. So, for instance, let's make the bottom trend line, and eventually, can we do this? I don't really, oh yeah, there we go. Okay. So again, we shouldn't really go too much higher, but the fact that we're making higher highs is really not a bearish sign at all. It's a bullish sign, in fact. But the fact that Dow Jones, like, let's say if we just go down now, and that's that, you know, we made higher highs in the comp and S&P, but that Dow Jones continuously is making lower lows, which is a obvious sign that we are in a bear market, and that, you know, the Dow continues to lag behind in strength compared to comp and S&P. So that's what I'm seeing in the market front. That, you know, at some point I thought, listen, guys, I thought we weren't gonna make higher highs, but the markets proved me wrong. You know, they proved me wrong here. I thought we were making lower lows. So now we're gonna have to let the market see what they want to do, what the pumpers want to do, because obviously they can't keep the markets continuing up like this. They can't. we're at the peaks. If you look at a daily chart, guys, it shows next week could be good too. It shows if you think we could get a slight pullback, right? Because check this out. I mean, look, the CCI is pretty spiked out, right? So that CCI will come down, you know, Friday, but it'll come down. So we'll still be above. I think we'll get support possibly at that 50-day moving average. If I could find that, let's just pop that up. Let's hear it. I think that's. Whoops. Okay, so for the comp, you know, this is a tough one, guys. I think it's possible. So we get that pullback now, right? Then what? Well, let's see. At 7202. 7207. So this moving average is pretty accurate for the 200 day. 50 day, rather. So again, we pull back to that. I mean, we could go lower. Yeah, sure. We could get support at that level. 7,180. We can get support a little lower, where we got support here, major support at 7,000, at the 7,100 mark. That's pretty much a area where we've had major resistance and or support. So if markets end up doing that, you know, possibly I think this would line up perfect. Bounce off that lower trend line and continue higher. Look, you see this? We had no negative MACD here. We should have failed and had that MACD. We failed that breakout twice, having lower highs. But this day right here was sketchy. I should look this up and see what I had to say on that day. Because it's kind of fucked up. You know, of course, that CCI was down too low, but it still could drop 100 points, dip below, but no, it didn't. It hung in there. Markets hung in there. Okay, so across the board, what are we looking at, guys? Let's just check out some stuff. Let's look at gold. Let's see how gold's rally's doing. Okay, we backed down quite a bit, but looks like we could be getting support right where we need it. And that appears to be the case. Let's check out silver. Let's check out Bitcoin. Yeah, all pretty much lower. Well, Bitcoin's a little staying on that range, going down a little bit. Silver's flagging here with support at overbought levels. Let's check the dollar because the dollar's been falling. You know, I've been trying to call it the top for this dollar rally, but 92 was pretty much the top. We went to 93. And yeah, look at that. We're making lower lows. So, sorry, goodbye dollar. I think this is the end of the trend for that positive move there. Okay, let's check out sweet crude, baby. All right, rallied almost to 72. It's going to come back down. Looks like it's having a rough day today. I wonder if we'll put in lower lows. Although on an hour chart, it looks like we should be getting some support and continuing this move higher. On a daily chart, we look great. We look fucking phenomenal, and we look like we're going to blast out of here. Or we did blast out of here, actually. Again, we're bouncing off this relative strength indicator top. We could still get a couple more days out of this rally. Hit that 72 region. But God, we might just keep marching at that overbought level, especially with this shit going on with Iran. Guys, if you aren't aware, I'm pretty sure Iran is started firing missiles uh, at Israel, the fucking Zionists, and over in Syria, and this is gonna start escalating, guys. This is gonna start escalating. You know, Trump doesn't want Iran to have that nuclear capability, so the deep state, Netanyahu, the Zionists, all got to gather together and try and fight this next war. We're just going to have to see how this plays out. If we end up getting into another war, that will definitely crash the market. So we're just going to have to wait and see. Again, we got that 10-year going to go down because Fed's just buying bonds out the back door, completely suppressing what's going on. And, we are peaked out in the indices, but it's possible we could again keep going up a little bit higher to some overbought levels. See, we're not even overbought. We could spike out with that CCI another 50 points or so. Yeah, another 100 points actually. We could even accelerate. We've had a big day. We got another big day, and if the bears don't pull it back today, it's possible we could keep going up. I mean, on our charts we're overbought, so that should say something. I think perhaps we get this pullback and then have another move up, have a triple move up to hit these 7,500 levels. Have this continuous highs and continue in this channel going up. That's what I see likely to happen. All right, I'm going to leave you guys off with that. It's been an excellent day so far. I think the deep state is just pumping these markets up, lying to everybody. We got that here. I'll cover some economic data right now. Yeah, we got some time. Again, so that's again we got the core and CPI. We got that CPI coming in at a gain, so there was some inflation. We were expecting 0.3, but we got better than expected. And we also got a reduction in the core, which is food and energy, or excluded food and energy. So food and energy are the real inflators. That's what's being propped up, or not propped up, but that's what's being accelerated in price. Again, we got the same initial claims. More people, the same amount of people are filing unemployment. That was a beat because we expected 220K, and we got more people with those continuing claims, and we got a big surplus with that nat gas invents. So that's what we've been seeing across the board. Actually, no, we saw a reduction in that in the invents. So it's going to mean nat gas is going to go down in price and more supply. Meanwhile, crude invents, there's less supply that due to that whole Iran ordeal, and that's going to play in with that oil market, constricting the price. And although OPEC said they would pick up the slack, it's still going to be a problem. So overall, I think these markets are just so fucking so propped up and manipulated that, you know, in the short term, last from April to May, we've had bullish action. Now for this S&P, we've had this top that's pretty freaking. We've had a double top here, complete double top. So we're gonna have to come back down and then test that these levels here. And it really doesn't look good still for that Dow Jones or for the S&P 500. The only thing that looks great is the Nasdaq comp. In reality, these companies in the future will get the earnings won't be as good. Why? Because consumers won't be able to buy stuff. Why can't consumers buy stuff in the future? Well, you see, right now we have a problem with inflation. And the Fed admitted that inflation will go above that 2% level. And they're expecting 2.2% basically symmetry because we've been floating at 1.8% for a while. But what makes you think that inflation's going to stay there? I don't know. I don't think it will. The Fed is going to have to raise rates to fight the inflation. Now, the whole world is experiencing inflation. Argentina, Venezuela. We could see this inflationary pressure happen globally, as well as a Fed around the world being dovish on not raising rates. So this global economy is not reflected in the stock market right now. It's not. What's reflected in the stock market now is cheap money that allow people to spend the money and not save. That's basically what's happening. And it creates an environment where malinvestment becomes a problem. You see, the malinvestment goes to houses. That's why housing prices are sky high. Goes to college tuition. Goes to auto loans. Goes to anything the government can guarantee. These guaranteed loans, flood insurance, affordable housing, it goes on and on. The fact is, the private sector wouldn't take on this risk. So when the government does, it's just going to blow up in our faces. The Fed is responsible, and the Congress and the government, for letting this happen. Now, we're going to continue to have crisis like this until something major happens. Eventually, the Fed will not be able to control this any longer, and it's going to be a problem. People say, oh, the dollar's going to crash into nothing. I don't think that's going to happen this time around. I really don't see it. The dollar's the world's reserve currency. Although we haven't gone toe to toe with China or Russia yet, they're not directly coming in our faces. They're conducting their own business, which is fair. They're cutting the monopoly out. EU and US, created after World War One and Two. The what was it? The something of powers, the League of Nations. That's Deep State 101. That's New World Order 101. Pretty much, the US has become the spearhead for that organization, for that, you know. So what we see is the consumer, right, not being able to spend their money here and there. They won't be able to buy as many iPhones. They're not going to be able to buy homes. They're not going to be able to buy cars. What's that going to do? That's going to cause deflation in the markets. So we're going to have that inflationary shock now. It's going to make it so we can't spend anymore. And then we're going to have deflation because everyone is trying to save and pay off debts rather than go and bid prices up. You guys might not realize, but the more buying there is, the more bidding up of prices. Because if no one's buying a product, most likely you're going to have to reduce the price, reduce supply, reduce something. Something has to change. So right now, something has to change. You even see that. You see stores closing. You see retailers closing. You see, business slowing in a lot of places. You see, those subway chains closing. You see a lot of fucked up shit going on in this world. And don't listen to the narrative that everything's all good. We're going to hit this wall soon, and if we get into war, it's going to happen sooner than later. We just need to be prepared. You know, okay, I got this wrong, guys. We're not right now, we're not heading into a bear market because we're getting a bullish signal in the short term. Okay, we're in the next couple of weeks, we'll probably continue this trend of higher lows and higher highs. So with all that being said, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much. And who knows? We're bound to hit that resistance and back it off. I thought we weren't going to be able to make those higher highs, but we'll see. Until that happens, take care and I'll see you later.